Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from Greedy Tech, and in this video I'll be talking about all the best features of the Samsung Galaxy M20. By the way guys, I've already posted a dedicated video for the tips and tricks section where I'll be talking about many things which I won't be covering in this video. So definitely check out the tips and tricks section, link will be in the description. Now with that said, the first best feature about this phone is definitely its display. This phone packs the latest Samsung's 6.3-inch Infinity V display with a TFT panel with Full HD Plus resolution with 90% screen to body ratio. It even has 19.5:9 aspect ratio, which makes the phone look taller than your regular phone. Specs aside, display on this phone is pretty good, viewing angles are great, and even the picture quality is pretty good. Sunlight legibility is just average but still usable. Now the next best thing about this phone would definitely be its cameras. On the rear, this phone sports a dual camera setup with a 13-megapixel primary camera with f1.9 aperture. That's followed by a 5-megapixel secondary camera with wide-angle lens with 120-degree field of view. On the front, it sports an 8-megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture. These are the sample pictures. Going on next, it even comes with a 5-megapixel secondary camera with wide-angle lens. Even though it's just a 5-megapixel camera, it has 120-degree field of view and can take some pretty great looking wide-angle shots. These are some sample pictures. Going on next, it even supports portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. Now usually Samsung calls it the live focus mode and gives you the option to change the amount of background blur effect you want, but on this phone, we can't do it. Instead, we can only take regular portrait shots. Now the next best thing about this phone would be the performance. This phone sports an Exynos 7904 octa-core processor with 2 Cortex-A73 cores clocked at 1.8 GHz and 6 Cortex-A53 cores clocked at 1.6 GHz. It even sports a Mali G71 MP2 GPU. These are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. Performance, at least on the paper, is pretty good, and it is a decent performer even when it comes to gaming. Now the next best thing about this phone would be the bigger battery. This phone sports a massive 5000 mAh battery, which might be the first time for Samsung at this price segment in this series. It takes about 2 hours to charge the phone completely, and you can use your phone continuously for 2 days on a single charge if you're a normal user. Going on next, this phone even supports fast charging. Yes, you heard it right. This phone comes with a Type-C charging port, supports fast charging, and also comes with a 15 watts power adapter inside the box, which is like groundbreaking for Samsung. Using this fast charger, you can charge your phone in almost 2 hours from 0 to 100%. Going on next, this phone even supports Dual-Vo LTE and native video calling. Here's a quick preview. Going on next, it even supports Dolby Atmos. Now if you're an audiophile or if you like listening to music a lot, then you can use this Dolby Atmos settings to improve the audio experience from the headset a bit more. Now this phone doesn't come with a dedicated DAC or an amp, but this Dolby Atmos settings definitely improve the audio experience. Going on next, this phone even has support for wideband L1. Now this might be a huge feature for people who watch a lot of content on Netflix or Amazon Prime and want to watch it in HD resolution. So this phone is one of the few phones that has wideband L1 support. Now going on next, it has the regular Face Unlock feature. Face Unlock is like the most standard feature we see these days, and even this phone has it. In well lit conditions it's not super fast, but it is pretty fast and usable. Even in low lighting conditions it works, but it takes like 2 seconds and it is pretty much usable. Next we have a dedicated feature or application called Samsung Mall. On earlier Samsung phones it used to be called as Bixby Vision, but now they are calling it Samsung Mall. Just open the camera application and click the button on the left corner. It will open Samsung Mall and then open the camera application again. Just point the camera at an object, it takes a picture, and then Bixby Vision will scan the image and try to find that product in an e-commerce site. Right now this feature doesn't work properly, but might work well in the future. Next we have navigation gestures. Just enable this feature and hide the navigation bar by double tapping the dot on the left side, and then you can use the navigation gestures. You can swipe on the right side to go back, swipe on the center to go home, swipe on the left side for recent apps. It's just like using the regular buttons, but instead you're just swiping. So as of now their implementation is kinda poor. Now the next most highlighting feature about this phone would be the fingerprint scanner. Now unlike the previous Samsung phones, this time Samsung has put a fingerprint scanner on the right side just like some of the Sony phones. Now the power button on this phone is much more bigger, flatter, and also acts like a fingerprint scanner. Now the fingerprint scanner isn't all that fast, like it takes like a second to unlock the phone, and it's actually kinda hard to find it without actually looking at it, which is something I really hate. Next we have fingerprint gesture. Now once you enable this feature, you can swipe up or down on the fingerprint scanner to pull down the notification bar and send it back up. Initially I thought it was super handy, but after some usage I was accidentally triggering it, so I completely disabled it later. Next, this phone has a dedicated SD card slot. Unlike many other phones, this phone has two SIM trays along with a dedicated SD card slot. So that's a unique thing, and with the dedicated SD card slot, you never have to worry about storage on this phone. Next, this phone even has themes. Now there are hundreds of themes to choose from, both paid and free, and I personally like this high contrast theme. It has a complete black theme and looks really good on an AMOLED display. If you have this phone, definitely give this theme a try. Now the next best feature on this phone are stickers. To use this feature, open the camera application, select the front facing camera, swipe and select stickers. Now you get all these different stickers to choose from. Once you select any one of these, you will see an overlay of these stickers on your face, and this is how they look. Next we have blue light filter. Now just like the name suggests, once you enable this feature, it puts a warm tint on the screen and filters blue light, which is supposed to help you sleep better at night. We can also change the intensity of the filter using the slider, and we can also schedule it to turn on and turn off automatically at a specific time. Next, we have the option to change font. Usually most Android phones doesn't give you the option to change font, while this phone does. Now you can choose any one of these fonts, or if you're not satisfied, download more from the online library. Next we have Game Launcher. Now once you enable this feature, it'll create a folder called Game Launcher on your home screen and keeps all the games in that folder. Now from this interface, you can change your performance mode. You can set it to normal performance or battery saver. Every time you play a game, your phone will automatically switch to that power profile. Besides that, we can also mute games. Now that's not all. Once you open a game, you can find an extra button on the navigation bar. Once you click it, you get additional options to take a screenshot to record the screen, lock the navigation bar, and even lock the screen without turning it off. On the whole, it gives you a lot of cool features, especially while gaming. Next, we have a feature called one-handed mode. Now once you enable this feature and swipe up from the bottom left corner or right corner, screen size will shrink and your phone will become much more usable with a single hand. Once you are in this mode, you can click this small button to switch the screen left side or right side. Now if you don't like this gesture, you can select the second option and click the home button 3 times to use the phone in one-handed mode. Next we have multi-window shortcut. Now usually on all phones you can simply press and hold the recent apps button to open split screen mode. On this phone, we need to enable this particular toggle to use that feature. Simply enable it and press and hold the recent apps button to open the current application in split screen mode in the top window. After that, you can select the secondary application. Once you open 2 applications in the split screen mode, you can click at the button at the center for extra options. Next, we have a feature called Pop-up View, which is very unique to Samsung phones. Once you enable this feature, you can simply swipe down from the top left or top right corner and the current application will open in a floating window. I really never had any use for this particular feature, but it might come in handy for some people. Now there are 2 options on the top. The leftmost option is to minimize that application and the second one is to maximize the application. Next we have Smart Alert. Once you enable this feature, every time you pick up your phone will vibrate if you have a missed call or a message. Next we have Easy Mute. Once you enable this feature, you can mute incoming calls and alarms by placing your hand over your phone or by turning your phone face down. Next we have Swipe to Call or Send Message. In the phone dialer, you can simply swipe left or right on the contact to make a call or send a message. It's not a great feature, but a very nice shortcut. Next we have Dual Messenger, which is like dual apps for Samsung. Using this feature, you can have 2 Snapchat accounts, 2 Facebook accounts, or even 2 WhatsApp accounts on the same phone. Sadly, we can't use this feature for all the applications. Like if you want 2 Paytm accounts on the same phone, we can't do it with this feature. If you really want to do that, you can use the secure folder feature which I mentioned at the start. Now the final and probably the best feature is the maximum power saving mode. On previous Samsung phones, it was called as ultra power saving mode. Once you enable this mode, it will decrease the screen brightness, set speed limiter, restrict background network usage, limit the number of apps that you can use, and apply a dark theme. On the whole, it does all these things to improve the standby time of your phone. Now, even in this mode, you can still use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth mobile data, watch videos, and do all the regular stuff. If you're on a very long journey, just enable this mode and you will have a great battery life. So guys, those were all the best features of Samsung Galaxy M20. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video, and definitely do check out the video on tips and tricks section. Link is in the description. If you have any doubts, comments or complaints, do let us know by commenting below this video, and you can also tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will get back to you as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from Greedy Tech signing off. Have a nice day.